We've come to the fourth P, and I'm standing at the portrait gallery staircase of the Morris Family Center of Law and Liberty. We've got Paul Revere, we've got Dolly Madison, people that you've heard of, but I bet you've never heard of Roger Sherman. Well, he was from Connecticut in the 1700s, was a strong Christian, a self-taught man, and he spent his career as a public servant. He was one of the only two men who signed all three of our country's great documents: the Declaration of Independence, the Articles of Confederation, and the Constitution. My point is, famous or not, the person in that office holds a lot of power. They are able to make decisions that will influence the state, the city, or the federal government, even our nation. So who we vote for is very crucial. After we cast our vote for that person, they will sit in a position of influence if elected. So this section is what most of us jump to first, the person. I haven't been stalling. I wanted to set the foundation of prayer and policy and partnerships first. Well, now we're finally at the person. And we first think of the presidential race because that's the one that gets the most attention. But there's many people running for many offices. So let's take a stroll back in time and let's look at the word candidate. In ancient Rome, in the political arena, the politicians, they wore gleaming white togas. This was to symbolize the purity of their intentions. This garment was known as the toga candida, from which we get the word candidate. And this white signified truthfulness, that they would be candid in their words. These white togas were a symbol of purity and truthfulness. That's not where our mind typically goes when we think of today's politics. But let's ask a few questions about the who, the person of this election process. First, what do you know about the candidate? For example, what's their background? What's their education? What's their experiences? What are their previous vocations? Secondly, what are their strengths and weaknesses? Everyone has strengths and weaknesses. But how will these influence their election? How will this influence the office? How does it influence their life and their policies? And as Christians, we have to ask at least a couple questions about their faith. What do they believe about Jesus? Politicians are pretty good at becoming whatever religion is needed at the moment. Do they know the Lord? Do they love the Lord? Finally, do they live out their faith? Now, I know we're electing a politician, not a pastor. I understand that. But these questions are worth asking. Your answers may be no across the board, but they are still ones you can ask before voting for that candidate. We have to ask, what's their track record like? What's their life like? Who are they? How will they use this position of influence to make a difference in our city, our state, and our nation? Now, let me address a question that many have asked me. What if you don't like either candidate? At that point, you have to fall back on the other P's that we've discussed. You may have to vote for the policies and partnership over the person. Remember, we've got 6 P's. So as you look up and down the ballot, see what person fits the most P's to be able to be true to what you believe the direction of your city, state, and nation should go.